There's a thing called cognitive load, right? When your brain is overloaded with information. But I'm using this in the context of memory. Okay, so if you're memorizing in a memory palace, right, and you're putting information into the memory palace, let's say you're memorizing words, right? If you're putting the words into a memory palace, there's going to be possibly a time, maybe it's already happened, that you're going to memorize quite a lot at the start, and then towards a certain section, you might just fail at it, right? Or if you've got more random information, right? And this is coming because of the US memory championships, how they do it, right? There's an event called the Tea Party, where you remember people's names and the hobbies and foods and where they live, all that sort of stuff. And the information isn't as simple as just putting words into locations, right? Because information is different, right? So you're going to get, say, a name or a hobby or a food. You might put that in, say, one location, but then another location might have, the football team they go for or whatever it is, right? So your locations, if you're putting these on your locations, they're going to have different bits of information. Now, what happens if you've got a lot of information in one, less information in the other, right, to memorize? What happens is there's the cognitive load happening where you're putting too much effort into one particular story, right? So you put all your hard work into remembering that, and then what happens is that the next image is fairly easy, right? It might just be a favorite food of that person. You go, okay, this is easy. The previous memorization was hard. This one's easy. Oh, it's a pie. Oh, great, I'll just move along. Make a quick association and move along, right? The issue with this, and I've had this with my clients as well, that are training for memory competitions, is that because we're putting so much effort into the prior memorization, that our brain is like, we just want a break, man. Let's just do this one quickly and move along. And because we do that quickly, that next one that I was talking about, the pie, when you do your recall, you forget it. Right? It's like, oh no, what was it? You remembered everything before, you put all your effort and energy into that, but the one thing that was so obvious and easy to memorize, you forgot, right? So how do you get over this cognitive load, right? You'd have to balance that load. So how do we balance the load, right? With the Tea Party and those sort of events, I don't recommend using a memory palace anyway. But that's another story altogether. Instead of putting, I won't say all your eggs in one basket because there's more eggs. Instead of putting 3, 4, 5 things into one, you can even it out as well. So there might be 3 there, 2 there, 3 there, and so on, right? So if there's other bits of information, let's say you've got names or you've got numbers and things like that, you even the spacing out, even the groups out to memorize. That way, the stories that you create are very similar. The stories aren't super long, and then one super short, and then one medium, right? You want sort of similar stories, right? Similar duration of stories, if that makes sense. Because once you do that, then when you do your recall, right, your brain sort of knows what process to go through, and it knows how to recall these things and how much effort you've put in, because it's all about energy, right? No one really talks about this what's going on? No one really talks about this in memorization. It's all about energy, right? And how much energy you put into each memorization point, right, makes a difference. Because if you put too much effort, as I mentioned, the next one you might have forgotten. So you need to create energy that flows through the same way for every single association. That's what you need to be able to do. And how do you do that? By keeping the load balanced, and not going overboard as well, because sometimes we can add a bit of mayonnaise, I guess, add a bit too much salt to our stories, but if it's done evenly, that's great. If it's not, then others may suffer. So I guess that's my point in today's video, is when you're memorizing, try and keep it consistent. because consistency is the key, right? Consistent energy flow in your memorization, because if you can keep that balanced, you will recall a lot better. Now, what can ruin that balance, right? Because there's things that can ruin the balance. Distractions can ruin the balance. So you have to be aware that even if you're distracted, something goes on, you know how to regulate your energy. That's why preparation is key, right? So you've got balance. Another thing that could disrupt is how you're feeling, right? Because if you're feeling like crap, your mind's going to be elsewhere. So you need focus, right? You need to be able to do this any given time, right? You need to have focus, concentration. If you have focus, if you're concentrated, right? If this is the only thing that exists in your world right now as you're memorizing and you're making those stories evenly, I can guarantee your memory game will, improve tenfold. Because I've seen it myself, having won 4 memory competitions, and it wasn't something that was very easy for me because I tried for 6 years straight before then, and even though I was memorizing more than everyone, I was making the most mistakes out of everyone. So I've had to learn how not to make mistakes in order to win. And that's how a lot of memory competitions are, essentially. That is the US memory competition, right? Whoever makes the least mistakes essentially wins. So if you're interested in all these mental loading, memory championships, if you're an aspiring memory athlete, let's have a chat, because I love speaking to people that are trying to get into memory sports. It's great. I mean, I coach them. It's fantastic. But also, it's an area that if you do work on becoming the very best at, it'll help you with so many areas of your life as well. So I've got links down below that you can click on and we can have a chat. Also, if you've got any questions about memory competitions as well, please message me or comment down below. I'd love to help you out. I love this sort of stuff. That's why I sometimes get into these, more nerdier videos about memory. So if you do like this stuff, please let me know and I'll make more of them, because I love talking about memory competitions. It's not always about, learning and, professional development, motivation, all that sort of stuff. To be honest, I don't care about motivation really, but I'm more of a creating a better habit person. But yeah, if you like this sort of stuff, let me know. If you've got any questions, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.